John Nicholson. And no, this is not O'Hare International in Chicago. For 1 week each year, the title of world's busiest goes to this small airport about 150 miles to the north. This is Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where before it's over, we'll see speed dash racers shooting for a world record and aerobatics pilots racking up points in international competition. We'll hear the thunder of warbirds on a combat mission and take a look at some of the finest examples of home-built and historic aircraft in the world. This is the Experimental Aircraft Association's annual fly-in convention. Oshkosh Airshow 93 is brought to you by EAA, the Sport Aviation Association. Coca-Cola Classic, always the real thing. And by Canon cameras, so advanced, they're simple.
Showtime.
Jordan drives again. Everyone's seen Michael Jordan like this. But now, Sports Illustrated gives you a closer look at one of sport's most celebrated heroes.
I'm just a country boy from North Carolina.
It's a fascinating new video called Michael Jordan Airtime. And it's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to get inside the action and intensity of sports every week.
Jordan drives again.
With every sentence, every picture, you'll get right into the heart-pounding excitement, the raw power, with action that unfolds right before your eyes. Call now, and we'll also take you inside Michael's remarkable world.
Let's watch Jordan. I think he's talking to Mutombo.
I told him I was going to shoot this with my eyes closed. As you know, I closed my eyes and shot it and made it. And I told him, welcome to the NBA.
Experience all the fantastic plays and incredible moves. The fun and the fury. It's a unique look at Michael Jordan's amazing talent.
The rim seems like a big old huge bucket.
And it comes with a full year of Sports Illustrated, including the swimsuit issue for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. Spend a year with Michael as you get into the life of the NBA's brightest star.
Hey, that was a good joke. Did you do that time? That was pretty damn good.
Your video's free when you subscribe to Sports Illustrated, the magazine more than 24 million readers get into every week.
How does he do that? Oh, what a spin by Jordan.
Call now for your free Michael Jordan Airtime video. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Nobody plays basketball like Michael Jordan, and nobody gets into sports like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
It began in a basement and ended up here. In 1953, a group of 30 aviation enthusiasts formed an organization to promote sport aviation. Most built their own airplanes, favoring the grassroots traditions that began with the Wright brothers. A modest annual fly-in was held to further promote the interests of EAA. The fly-in outgrew several sites and moved to its present location here in Oshkosh in 1970. 23 years later, this is the result. 135,000 members worldwide, a museum and headquarters complex, and the greatest air show in the world. In the past, the event has featured such innovative, high-profile aircraft as the Concorde and the Stealth Fighter. This year, they've added a taste of competition with an air race and aerobatics match. Ever since the Wright brothers left the ground, aviators have struggled to go higher, farther, faster. The Aeroshell Speed Dash is an outstanding example of competition for superiority when it comes to speed. It was first run back in the 1930s, and it's been brought back this year for Oshkosh. The competitors, the top finishers from last year's Formula One event at the Reno Air Races. Now, the standing record is 261.45 miles an hour. You have to beat it by at least 1%. So we're looking for 264.06. Each racer gets one shot at the record. Then the top two finishers get a second attempt. The race is held on a 3-kilometer straight-line course with a clear approach of at least 1 kilometer on each end. The 4 fastest consecutive passes through the timing chute, 2 from each direction, are averaged for the final speed. Pilots are restricted to a maximum altitude of 492 feet in the timing chute and 1,640 feet in the turnarounds. Formula One racing requires an engine with no more than 200 cubic inches of displacement, 66 square feet or less of wing area, a fixed landing gear and propeller, and a 500-pound minimum empty weight. Our first competitor is number 89, Bruce Bohannon. Bruce is piloting a pusher aircraft, so named because the propeller is in the rear. The designer of this airplane, Jim Miller, is also competing in the Speed Dash.
The weather conditions are extremely important. We don't have optimum conditions here by any means. The wind is definitely hurting us. We have a lot of wind here. It's a direct crosswind, and it's going to be rough.
Windy weather conditions did hamper Bruce, and although he exceeded the record on 2 of his passes, his average speed was only 256.26 miles per hour. This may qualify him for a second attempt later on. We caught up with Bruce after his run. Now, you've told me that a smart betting man would bet the record will be broken. On whom would a smart betting man put his money to break the record last, tops, best?
You're trying to get me in trouble.
You got that right.
Put me on the spot. I'd say you're just going to have to watch and see.
Troy Channing in Miss Reno, racer number 69, is our next competitor.
Here comes Troy again on his 3rd run from north to south, and he has got that thing hooked up. He's got it cooking. He is really laying the throttle to it.
Troy was able to complete 5 passes. The first 4 were averaged for an overall speed of 248.56 miles per hour, placing him behind Bruce Bohannon. A bumpy start to this competition, but there are still 3 challengers to go. We'll join them later in the program. And we'll return to Oshkosh with a look at the air show right after this.
Several years ago, I purchased the Club anti-theft device for my car. Well, now that I own this new truck, I need to keep it safe from theft. So naturally, I purchased the Truck Club. With more and more trucks, vans, and 4-wheel drive vehicles on the road, it's important to keep them safe from thieves. The Truck Club has been exclusively designed to fit these types of vehicles. The Truck Club, the police-recommended anti-theft device. Accept no imitations. Make sure the anti-theft device you buy says the Truck Club on the handle.
Now, from the makers of the Club anti-theft device comes the Safe Entry Alarm System. You've trusted the Club to protect your car. Now protect your contents with the new Safe Entry Security System. Scientifically designed to effectively protect your vehicle from thieves, the Safe Entry Security Light and Audible Alarm System helps protect your vehicle's contents when you can't. Never enter a dark car again, protected with the Club and Safe Entry, your partners in anti-theft protection. Now available at better stores everywhere.
You can see all the NFL action every Sunday. Sit back. Let us do the work. ESPN NFL Primetime. We'll find every bone-crushing hit, search out every key play, and mix insight from our pros into television's fastest hour of football. NFL Primetime. Sunday night at 7 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Welcome back to the 41st Annual EAA Fly-In Convention. Another objective in the quest for the perfect airplane is maneuverability. And some of the most visible evidence of the successes is here at the Daily Air Show, showcasing the talents of the most famous names in aerobatics and some of the finest pilots gathered on one airfield. The limits of machine and pilot are tested from the moment the airplane leaves the ground. Delmar Benjamin built a replica of the GB R2 Racer in 1991. The GB series was popular in the 1930s and participated in the National Air Races, the same competition that featured the original speed dashes. The GBs were the brainchild of the Granvilles, 5 brothers from New Hampshire. The most celebrated GB pilot was Jimmy Doolittle, who went on to lead the famous raid on Tokyo during World War II. Doolittle won the 1932 Thompson Trophy race in the R1 model. Delmar's replica has been on the air show circuit for 2 seasons and may appear at Reno this year. Patty Wagstaff divides her time between air show performances and aerobatic competition. She's the defending U.S. National Aerobatic Champion and a 4-time member of the U.S. Aerobatic Team. Tell us what you're going through when we see those incredible looks on your face.
Well, we go through about a 17 G range from about -8 Gs to positive 9 or 10 Gs. So when we're flying, it's amazing what it does to your system and your body, and it takes a lot of getting used to and a lot of physical training and flying every day to get used to it. So in the negative Gs, all the blood is forced into your head and you feel like your eyeballs are going to pop out, and then as soon as you're done with that, you go right into a hard positive G where you're forced back into your seat. So I think until people see the kind of footage that you're going to show them, they have no idea what we actually go through.
Wing walking is always a popular act at air shows. Gene and Cheryl Ray Littlefield have been a team for over a decade, and I'm not sure who has the tougher job, Cheryl on the outside or Gene piloting. Quest for perfection often goes beyond the one-to-one relationship between man and machine. Here, the excitement is tripled. Precision formation flying at its best. The Eagles Aerobatic Team. Charlie, Gene, and Tom began as the Red Devils in 1971. Gene Soucy is a 3-time National Unlimited Aerobatic Champion and was a top finalist on the U.S. Aerobatic Team in 1970 and 1972. In 72, Charlie Hillard became the first and only American to win an individual world championship. Tom Poberesny was a member of the U.S. team that captured the 1972 World Championship in France and is the president of EAA. Hosking flies the Double Take, an unusual airplane featuring landing gear on top and bottom. Craig has flown this airplane on the air show circuit since 1985. Imagine trying to land an airplane upside down. How do you get out of that thing? At the core of the Experimental Aircraft Association is the home-built movement. The do-it-yourself spirit in aviation has been with us since Kitty Hawk. When commercial aircraft production fell off during the 1970s and 80s, enthusiasts quickly took up the slack, developing fast and efficient airplanes, matching and sometimes exceeding the standards of the older manufacturers. Home-builts are registered in the experimental category. Each airplane is inspected by the Federal Aviation Administration during construction. It's then issued a special airworthiness certificate before it can be flown. At the high end of the spectrum are the Speedsters, the Quest Air, the Lance Air, the Berkut, and the Glass Air, among others. You may even want to go supersonic. For most of us, building a jet would be out of the question. Not for Jim Beattie. This is his second jet design. Now, you're one of the designers of this. To you, what is the most impressive thing about the BD-10?
Well, actually, it's the other end of the scale that is very impressive to me. In other words, when you design an airplane to go very fast, you have to use swept wings and very thin wings and so on. That's what you must do, otherwise it will not go fast. But those are the type of things that an airplane has that is not very good for landing. And the hardest thing, the thing we spent the most effort on, is to be able to make it land very soft and very nice like a little Piper. And frankly, we've done it.
But speed's not everything. Looking for something slightly more accessible? You might try any of the dozens of ultralights and light planes available. Or popular home builts like the Kit Fox, the Avid Flyer, or the Tailwind, which has been around since the 1950s. The real beauty of the home built movement is that it appeals to a large cross-section of people, like this young man. We have Terrence Smith with us now. He plays the youngest son, Mark, on the hit comedy show Home Improvement. Terrence, you are from an aviation family, are you not?
Well, yes. My grandpa is a pilot. My dad is a pilot. My aunt is getting into flying. Yeah. So a lot of people in my family have been flying.
Your dad built his own airplane. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, my grandpa and him. It's a Q2 experimental. It's a little two-seater. From the front, it looks like a dragonfly, I think.
Not everyone builds from the ground up. For the vintage airplane buff, there's always that dream of finding a treasure, a salvageable Curtiss Jenny, Waco, or Beech Staggerwing long forgotten in some barn or hangar. Like the classic car enthusiast, scarce parts are swapped and reconditioned. Restoration advances slowly. The result is a flyable piece of history. Whether it's a brand new design or a complete renovation, the quest for excellence is alive in the 90s in the workshop of the aviation enthusiast.
Not to toot our own horn, but Hershey's Symphony bars are our creamiest, smoothest milk chocolate, also available with almonds and toffee chips. There'll never be another unfinished Hershey's Symphony. Sounds delicious, doesn't it?
We're back at Oshkosh, Wisconsin for the 41st annual EAA Fly-In Convention. The aerobatics we've seen so far have been exhibition aerobatics. Now it's time for some competition. The best aerobatic pilots in the world are here in Oshkosh for the international competition known as the Breitling Masters World Cup. Breitling Swiss Chronograph is the sponsor, and the Oshkosh leg is the third of 6 qualifying events for total prize money of close to $500,000. 11 pilots are scheduled to compete in this invitational tournament. The mood is surprisingly light for a competition. In fact, several of the pilots have offered to share airplanes for the event. Jurgis Kairis of Lithuania is the current leader with 17 points. Several pilots joined the tour for the first time here at Oshkosh, including 3 Americans. At Whitman Field, the minimum altitude for the Breitling is set at 328 feet. An invisible front line separates the airplanes from the crowd. Our judging panel is comprised of 10 international officials, 7 from the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, the organization responsible for certifying all aviation records worldwide. The first round consists of a modified freestyle program with 7 catalog maneuvers plus 4 open maneuvers that are not scored. Our first pilot is 29-year-old Elena Klimovich of Russia. Elena is a professional flight instructor and a member of the Russian National Aerobatic Team. Elena waggles her wings to indicate to the judges that she's ready to begin her routine. As she goes vertical, she pulls about 8 Gs. Then into an inside snap roll. 1, 2, 2 1/4 rolls over the top. Now on the down line, she begins trading altitude for airspeed and executes 3 vertical rolls. Notice the effect that gravity, or G-forces, has on her face as she completes her maneuvers. You can see the tension not only in her arms, but in her whole body as she controls the airplane. Again, Elena pulls vertical, rolling the airplane 180 degrees and kicking the rudder. This tail waggle shows the tremendous rudder control of the Sukhoi Su-26. Our next contestant is Linda Myers from the United States. Linda flies a French-built CAP 231 in competition. Right now, she prepares for a tail slide. The airplane literally stops in the air and flips forward. Watch how Linda immediately pushes out inverted to get the airplane flying. We had a chance to speak with Linda about her flight. The first competitor, Elena seemed to think it was pretty tough.
Sure, there's a big, strong crosswind. Elena's at a little bit of a disadvantage because I've flown at Oshkosh before. It's not uncommon in our sport to find that. When I go to her country and fly, I'll be at the same disadvantage.
Dominique Rollon of France in the cockpit of this CAP 231 EX. Dominique begins with a series of rolls to inverted. There's an outside 3/4 snap. More snap rolling maneuvers now as the airplane tumbles nose over tail. Watch how the G's affect his face as he pulls to level. See how he looks outside to get a fix on his vertical line. Constantly reorient themselves. Dominique has been a member of the French aerobatic team since 1991. We caught up with him when he returned to the ground. Are you happy with the way things have gone here in Oshkosh?
Yes, I think for me it's the most grateful experience as a pilot here. I think you have the best all over the world. People here are very kind, and it's only here where it's possible to go along the line and receive all this congratulations. It's a unique experience for me, and it's really something great.
John Lilberg of the United States has been flying competitively since 1971. Up until a few years ago, he flew a Pith Special, but recently converted to this German-made Extra 300S. Rick Massagey is 39 years old and is a captain for United Airlines. Rick is also an air show performer and competed with the U.S. aerobatic team in France last summer. He flies a Sukhoi Su-26. A pilot who's no stranger to flying in front of the judges is Christian Schweitzer, Switzerland. Christian is a long-time competitor and is considered one of the most experienced competition pilots still active. He has won multiple Swiss national championships and in his country flies an extra 230. At Oshkosh, he's competing in Linda Meyer's Cap 231.
All right, and a series of snap rolls on the way down, and pull out the level up that horizontal flight. And that's Christian. Christian pulls vertical, then over the top, making half a loop. Then 1, 2 snap rolls on top, and finishes his routine by completing a perfect loop. You are third in the standings coming in.
Yes.
Do you expect to move out of here higher in the standings?
No, I don't think. At home I fly a 200-horse airplane, which is the lowest horsepower competing in this class, and that's the problem. This airplane has a beautiful performance, but I do not know exactly all the tiny little hints and the tricks. So I have to figure it out then.
A very good start. Thank you very much, Christian Schweitzer. Patty Wagstaff takes to the sky in her extra 300S. Earlier, we saw Patty performing in the air show. Now she's in a whole different mindset, ready for competition. She begins by pulling vertically with a roll right and snap rolls back to the left. The airplane tumbles nose over tail as she recovers. Look at the G's trying to push Patty out of the airplane. Now she begins a series of rolls around a 360-degree path. This is a difficult maneuver. Coordination in a maneuver like this is extremely tough. Patty has just about completed her circuit. She goes inverted, hanging from her shoulder harness, getting her orientation every couple of seconds. Patty goes into a quarter roll, tumbling the airplane nose over tail. Look at it hang on the prop. She recovers in a roll and points the airplane down to regain airspeed. Patty comes back in front of the judges at more than 200 miles per hour. Again, Patty will roll the airplane through a 360-degree turn. Look at how she's working the controls. Imagine keeping oriented while you are doing this, all the time staying framed in front of the judges. This takes incredible coordination between hands and feet. Finally, Patty comes up and executes a vertical snapping maneuver. She pulls over the top and is now pointing the airplane down. Patty Wagstaff of the U.S. in her extra 300S. We'll be back at Oshkosh for more of the Breitling Masters World Cup aerobatics competition, plus a look at World War II aircraft, a ride on the blimp, and the final runs of the Aeroshell Speed Dash, right after this.
Images can change. Just like that, when you change lenses. With the Rebel and EOS lenses from Canon, each and every EOS lens lets you take what you want. Images.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and Rebel S from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
The RCA Home Theater with SRS gives you rich, powerful theater-like sound with no extra speakers or wires. When there's one in the neighborhood, you'll know it.
We're back at EAA Oshkosh Airshow 93. 3 contestants remain in the first round of the Breitling Masters World Cup. Jurgis Kairis, the current leader in the world competition, is a test pilot for the Sukhoi Design Bureau in Moscow.
A former member of the Soviet Union's national aerobatic team, Jurgis joined the Lithuanian team after the breakup of the USSR. It's important to start your routine at the right position and altitude. He pulls up vertically. He rolls to the right. And again, going from a roll into a snap rolling maneuver. The airplane is slowly turning with the torque of the engine. Jurgis rolls from vertical to horizontal, an amazing maneuver, keeping the airplane moving at all times. Now he pushes the nose down for an outside snap roll. Again, a series of snap rolls from knife edge to knife edge flight.
Really mess your line up. Absolutely correct. And here's another pre-figure, just a series of aileron rolls, snap roll.
He snap rolls as he completes a vertical circle. Another outstanding maneuver. And now, with the nose up, he continues to roll the Sukhoi. He wraps up, pointing the nose down to get oriented in front of the judges. We join Patrick Paris in the cockpit as he signals the judges that he's ready to begin. Patrick is in second place, 4 points behind Jurgis. He's flying the Breitling aircraft, the same CAP 231EX flown by Dominique Roland. Patrick is the 1993 European aerobatics champion and has been French national champion 5 times. Here you can see the smoke trail behind Patrick as he comes over the top and dives toward the ground. While smoke is generally not used in aerobatic competition, it is optional in the Breitling. The judges look for variety and harmony in the execution of these routines, and Patrick has accented his presentation with slow rolls, hesitation rolls, and snap rolls. Peter from Budapest, Hungary, is his country's national aerobatic champion. Peter is flying John Lilberg's Extra 300S at Oshkosh. Our last competitor is Marianne Mayer of France. Marianne has won 15 medals in European and World Aerobatic Championships. In addition to international competition, she's also a flight instructor. And Marianne has flown across the English Channel, upside down. The first round of the Breitling Masters of Aerobatics comes to a close. With a second freestyle set yet to come, the standings reveal Jurgis Kairis and Patrick Paris in first and second, followed by American Patty Wagstaff in third. We'll return to more Breitling action a little later, but right now let's cross to the far end of the field for something completely different. This monster is the Anheuser-Busch Bud 1 airship, 194 feet long, 67 feet high, 63 feet wide. As long as they've been airships, they've played an important role in aviation, from luxury passenger transport back in the 1930s to today's use as a camera platform for major sporting events like the Super Bowl. Manned flight did not begin with the Wright brothers. Hot air balloons took to the sky 120 years earlier. In the first part of the 20th century, lighter-than-air flying machines had captured the fancy of an international public. As the Second World War approached, airships were used by the military, as well as in commercial venues. In later years, rigid frame airships gave way to non-rigid blimps, like the Bud 1 airship. This airship is fitted with twin 204 horsepower engines and has a maximum speed of 55 miles per hour. We're up here now in the Bud 1 airship with Captain Mike Hance at the controls. Mike, great to be here. You're going to show us a little bit of how it's done. Actually, you're going to show me how to do this.
I'll be happy to show you exactly how you fly a Budweiser blimp.
Is it difficult?
Well, let's just say landings are interesting.
More interesting than taking off, I guess.
Well, yeah, it does take a while to get used to it. It's a little different. Of course, it's lighter than air, and most pilots take about 250 hours to learn how to fly the ship. It takes a little time to learn.
All right, Mike, let's go for it.
Okay, it's easy. You want to go back? Pull back on the yoke.
Right.
That brings the nose up. Then if you push forward, the nose will go down. Now you notice there's a big delay. Push forward. No, push. Push. In fact, in the airship, you can go all the way forward, and all the way back, and all the way to the right, and all the way to the left, and nothing happens.
That's right.
So let's try a few things. Easy stuff. Let's go to the left.
Okay.
So what you do, in just like a sailboat, bank it over, or turn the rudder is what you're doing.
Okay.
And count to 10 or whatever. And you notice it starts moving.
So start to come
Once
back
it starts moving, take about half of that out, half of the bank out.
All right.
And then she'll still go around. To stop it, you have to add opposite rudder. Now this is your rudder pedal. There's no rudder pedals on the floor of a blimp. In an airplane, you kind of fly by a lot of feel. This one you have to fly by feel and wait a little bit. How interesting, isn't it?
This is absolutely fascinating.
Isn't this a beautiful day at Oshkosh?
The Eye in the Sky, behind the Eye in the Sky cameras, Ken Sanborn. Ken, I've been told you can actually get in on a program with this. Is that possible?
Well, yeah, you can. A program may be a little bit too tight, but you can get in pretty tight here and see what's going on. And the camera's gyro stabilized, so it's relatively steady.
You have 20 years or so experience with this?
Yeah, aerial photography, about 20 years, out of helicopters and airships and airplanes and everything. I love it. I'm a pilot myself, so I kind of love flying, and it's kind of a way to combine the two loves of my life, flying and photography.
Our pass over the EAA Museum signals that our time on the blimp is coming to an end. We'll get back down to Earth right after this.
I liked Marjorie the first day I laid eyes on her.
He was romantic even then. We started going together when we were 15.
Times were tough.
But we barely noticed.
We were married during the war.
I thought he looked handsome in a uniform.
She was right. 3 days ago, we celebrated our 50th anniversary.
He's still romantic.
Swiss Army Brands Limited is proud to present this amazing games moment. Rough and tumble Florentine football dates back to the Middle Ages. It's an anything-goes contest with 54 men and essentially only one rule. Can you guess what it is? The answer after this.
The designers of the Swiss Army brand original watch created a timepiece of classic simplicity and pure function. Then, in a shameless act of marketing, dispensed with the figure 12. The watch, from the people who bring you the knife. The designers of the Swiss Army brand original watch created a timepiece that is durable, accurate, and the very definition of function. Then, they just went nuts. The watch, from the people who bring you the knife.
In the brawl-like game of Florentine football, it is expressly forbidden to kick an unconscious opponent. This amazing games moment brought to you by Swiss Army Brands Limited.
We're back at Oshkosh for another look at the air show. Bob Herendeen practiced aerobatics for the first time at age 16 during his first solo flight. Bob currently flies a Glass Air 3 modified for a 300 horsepower engine. In his long career, he has flown more than 80 airplanes as an Air Force pilot, commercial airline pilot, and aerobatic aviator. Bob is a two-time national aerobatic champion. Tucker has been voted by his peers as the best male solo air show performer. Sean flies a 360 horsepower Pitts S2S. We asked Sean about his airplane. All right, tell us something, though, about the technical aspects of the airplane, about the engine, about other things you do with it.
The engine is a wonderfully powerful, strong 350 horsepower Lycoming engine. earth is just spinning and tumbling around. You'll see all the people, you'll see the runway, and you'll see the sky and the earth again, and then you can stop it. And it's a magical feeling to have that control over a piece of machinery. It's almost like I got wings on my own arms and my own mind, and I'm one with my airplane.
Using a special high-speed shutter on our camera, we've stopped the propeller on Sean's plane. This prop is actually moving at more than 2,000 RPM. Here's Bill Leff in a beautiful T6 Texan. Bill restored this World War II trainer back in 1976 and has been on the airshow circuit ever since. Bill's airplane is a perfect prelude to some of the incredible aircraft we'll see next. One of the most popular features of the air show is the Warbird Spectacular. Most of these planes were designed and built quickly, some in a matter of months, and yet they were still on the cutting edge of technology. During the course of the war, hundreds of designs went from blueprints to the battlefields of Europe and the Pacific. At the close of the war, with the coming of the jet age, most of these aircraft were left to scrap. A handful survived and are prized collector's items for the lucky few who own and care for them. In this year's convention spotlight was the P-47, a pursuit airplane, also known as the Thunderbolt. The P-47 holds the distinction of being produced in greater numbers than any other single-engine U.S. fighter during World War II. By the end of the war, it was effectively used for strafing missions. There are fewer than 10 airworthy P-47s left in the world, so this formation of 5 is an incredibly rare sight. Liaisons, trainers, and transports, as well as the fighters, all areas of military use are represented. The P-51 Mustang is one of the most popular and highly desirable warbirds. If it served in the conflict, chances are you'll find an example of it here at Oshkosh. Next, we switch to the heavy iron. Among the bombers featured at Oshkosh were 4 B-17s, 3 B-25s, a B-24, and an A-26. Dramatic recreations of combat missions highlight the Warbird Spectacular. As many as 50 airplanes are in the sky at one time for these presentations. These tributes appeal to young and old alike. One of the spectators on hand was Chuck Yeager. What is it about these warbirds that's so fascinating? People who weren't even born when they were flying in the war now buy them, bring them back, keep them flying.
You know, it is pretty amazing, and something that I really appreciate is that I still get to fly something that I was fighting in 50 years ago.
Memories like this have their start at Oshkosh.
Why watch life on TV when you can live it? Why Italian leather shoes when there's hiking boots? Why pay for mountain spring water when you can get it for free? Times have changed, but you haven't. You've always appreciated the finer things in life. Daylight savings time, a good challenge, and your Amerlink log home. Beautiful, natural log homes designed to blend in with nature. Perfect for the lake, mountains, beach, or your favorite neighborhood. Energy-efficient log homes, produced with pride by Amerlink, an environmentally conscientious company. To discover more about Amerlink's log homes for the 90s, call 1-800-282-LOGS to order our 128-page full-color planning guide featuring photos and floor plans of 80 new models, all for only $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling. Call and order your Amerlink log home planning guide now, and you'll also receive a complete How to Build a Log Home video at no extra charge. Amerlink, America's log home company.
The Pac-10 is my conference, and I love watching Pac-10 football on ABC. But my husband went to school in the South, and I know how much he misses those classic SEC battles that he used to see down there. I wish I could give him a choice.
Here are this Saturday's games. If your favorite ABC game is not available locally, you can order it on pay-per-view. ESPN ABC College Football Pay-Per-View, the only way to see it all. Get up, get going. It's ESPN's midday workout. Don't get stuck in the same routine. Change it daily on ESPN's midday workout.
Welcome back to the 41st Annual EAA Fly-In Convention. We're back at Speed Dash headquarters where crew, pilot, and race officials are getting ready for the next run at the record. Bruce Bohannon and Troy Channing have already flown, and neither could beat the world record of 264.45 miles per hour. Next up is John Sharp and racer number 3, Nemesis. John has been racing in international Formula One since 1978 and has won 4 national championships since 1982. Notice how small these cockpits are. There's just not a lot of airplanes surrounding these pilots. John had the airplane working on the numbers. As he made 4 passes, it looked like he would have the fastest speed so far. This plane is moving. The first word we're getting down here in the ground is that you needed a pretty fast last run with the wind at your back. Did you feel like it was pretty fast?
Well, the plane was really working good. The problem was with the crosswind and the turbulence. I was having to fly sideways. I was up off the canopy, slamming down in the seat, the engine stopping and going and everything. It's a rough flight. I hope I got it after that.
Soon after our interview, the results came in. John Sharp had broken the world record with an average speed of 277.56 miles per hour. But will it stand? Tom Hoffman and Judy made the next run. This was Tom's first entry in this sort of competition. To make 6 runs, the first 4 of which were averaged for a final speed of 256.67 miles per hour. Not enough for the record, and at least 10 miles per hour less than John Sharp. We're with Jim Miller, who is getting set to take his shot at the world record in the Speed Dash. Jim, you're the last guy to get the shot. It's been broken once. How does it look to you now?
Well, the weather's looking pretty decent, so we'll just give her our best shot, that's all.
Jim has been on the race circuit since 1949 and flies his own design, the Pussycat. This is also the design Bruce Bohannon flies. After only 2 runs, a combination of rough air and engine trouble forced Jim to pull out of the competition. After all 5 racers have flown, we have a new world record set by John Sharp. The rules state that the top 2 qualifiers can take a second shot at the record. John is confident that no one will match his record, so Tom Hoffman and Bruce Bohannon will fly again. Things begin smoothly for Tom. His time for the first 2 runs showed respectable speeds, but suddenly he pulled out. Tom Hoffman in his second chance was taking a pretty good run at John Sharp's new world record. He got through 2 swipes, once up, once back, and then came on down. Tom, what happened up there?
Canopy blew. I went through a rotor, a flock of birds, and next thing you know, the canopy's in my face.
You're saying here that shouldn't have happened, the way that should have happened.
I can't understand why it happened, but it did.
Bruce Bohannon gave it his all on his second attempt, but after 4 passes at an average speed of 260.62 miles per hour, it was evident that Bruce was not going to beat John Sharp. The competition was over, and John Sharp held on to his world record. We have waited 10 years to break Phil Fogg's record. You've done it on your first effort, but other people failed before you. How confident were you going in?
Well, we knew we could break the record. We just didn't know by how much. The conditions are such a player here, the wind, the turbulence, all the things. You got to get out and do it. You got 15 minutes to do it. You got to go get it done and get back. And it's incredible, the excitement. I don't know what else to tell you. It's the best thing that's happened to me.
Once again, congratulations, John Sharp, the new record holder at 277.56 miles an hour.
One, two, three, four. Give me a break. Give me a break. Play me out this back kick. Give me a break. Give me a break. Play me on the bass and
Later on SportsCenter, Dion returns, but would it matter for the winless Falcons against the Rams? We'll preview the World Series now 2 days away, and we'll get you covered on pucks, too. Join me, Linda Cohn, along with Chris Myers at 11:30 Eastern.
We're back at Oshkosh for the second part of the Breitling World Cup aerobatics competition. This round consists of a 4-minute freestyle routine. As in the first round, the judges will be looking for originality, technique, harmony, and versatility. Let's watch as 7th-placed Linda Myers begins her routine. Linda executes 3 inside snap rolls on a 45-degree line, transitions into a half roll, 1 half loop, she pulls to vertical, a quarter roll to the right, followed by a 3/4 inside snap to the right. Linda is a consistent medal winner and has been on the U.S. team several times. Once again, here's Patty Wagstaff. She demonstrates a beautiful Lumshavak. Patty executes the knife-edge spin, in this case doing it the hard way, going up instead of down. This is Patty's first appearance in the Breitling Tour, and she has performed brilliantly. Patrick Paris, flying the distinctive Breitling airplane, hangs in a fantastic torque roll. Then into a series of tumbling 3 1/4 snaps. A half roll. And a 1/2 outside loop into a series of outside snaps, ending in a Lumshavak. Jurgis Kairos begins with a 1 1/4 roll. then 2 outside snaps, and a transition into a Lumsheva. Next are 4 vertical rolls upward, leading into a helicopter-type torque roll, and continuing torque rolling down in front of the judges. Here are the complete standings for the second round of the Oshkosh Breitling competition. Jurgis Kairos captured the top prize on the Oshkosh leg and maintained his first-place position in the overall standings. Dominique Roland was disqualified from the second round for crossing the front line during his routine. Jurgis Kairos came in here ranked number 1 in the Breitling World Cup. He comes out of here with an even bigger lead, picking up 12 points, again finishing first. Tell us about today's flight.
I think good. A little difficult weather, yeah, wind strong, yeah, but no problem in program. And I think it's good.
Patrick Paris of France and Patty Wagstaff of the U.S. also managed to hold on to their second and third place positions from the first round. Moving into fourth is Elena Klimovich, whose first round score helped her place ahead of Linda Myers. So after this leg of the Breitling World Cup, the accumulation of points firmly establishes Jurgis Kairos in first place. There are still 3 competitions to go, and we wish all the international competitors the best of luck. We've been able to sample just a little of the excitement in the sky over Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Now things are beginning to wind down at the 41st Annual EAA Fly-In Convention. When we come back, I'll share some final thoughts.
Now when you fly with Michael Jordan, you can have the seat right next to him.
Showtime.
Get the whole show in this great new video, Michael Jordan Airtime. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. The best way to get inside the action for over 20 million readers. Call this toll-free number now and let one of sports' most celebrated stars be your tour guide on an unforgettable behind-the-scenes journey.
Here we go to
Mike, 3 again.
the rim seems like a big old huge bucket.
This is the greatest performance.
Catch the excitement of the NBA. Then go with Michael to Monte Carlo and Barcelona for an inside look at it all.
Nothing could equal what we were going to do in Monte Carlo.
Get your free video and 54 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.39 an issue. Save over 52% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Take off with your free Jordan video and catch the next flight in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
The Red Wings. The Maple Leafs. Super scoring Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings face the Maple Leafs tomorrow live on ESPN National Hockey Night. You're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Oshkosh Airshow 93 has been brought to you by EAA, the Sport Aviation Association. Canon cameras, so advanced, they're simple. And by Coca-Cola Classic, always the real thing. As quickly as it came together, it's over. The people and the planes are gone, leaving behind these silhouettes, these ghosts in the grass. But in 51 weeks, they'll reappear as this becomes once again the busiest airport in the world. Just keep watching the sky. For ESPN, I'm John Nicholson.
What a beautiful day for an air show.